Hello and welcome. I am Miss AyeVee. I'm your Clark County Poet Laureate, and we're back for another episode of the Poetry Corner right here on CCTV Local Channel 4. So you know we bring all of that great literary arts right here from Southern Nevada, and today we are celebrating Pride Month with the award-winning local literary artist and recently TED Talks presenter Elizabeth Allen Berry. Thank you so much for being here, Elizabeth. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so many exciting things happening with you. Okay, we gotta talk about TED Talk. So this just happened in March. TED Talk presenter right here in Las Vegas. Can you give us a little insight on just how that experience was for you as a literary artist in that sphere?
It's cool to have a lot of people talking about something that's been their passion or research for the past couple of years, but in the similar vein, like my passion and research has been performing and has been stages you've put me on. So it's really cool to be able to have that space and breadth to be able to like perform in front of probably the largest audience that I've ever performed in front of, like just myself. So that was a really beautiful experience.
Was it so nerve-wracking? I mean, you mentioned the largest audience.
Yeah.
Was it crazy?
I mean, I definitely had my headphones on backstage, and I was like, all right, I can't, I'm a little stressed, but, you know, it's nice to be able to put ourselves in those shoes and that moment and just be like, this is what we're meant to do, you know?
And like your work was unique with TED Talks because not only were you presenting poetry, you also were presenting your musical talents as well. Elizabeth is an extremely talented musician, specializing in the electric violin. So
Yeah.
how was that kind of bridging those? I would think that that would be really challenging, like in your mind, the instrument, the words. How was that?
I always talk about my violin as like my first voice, 'cause especially when I went through male puberty in high school, that's something that like I view as trauma, but it's like I was able to keep my electric violin. I was able to keep my high voice, as you call it. So I always say that it was like my first language is my violin. And so even I was performing the other day and my dad was like, so how long ago did we get that? I was like, when I was 16, Dad. You know, so it's like, it's cool to be able to, I mean, I've been playing violin since I was like 4 or 5. So it's something that is like very, very innate to me. And it's starting to get to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, I can talk and play my violin. Which like, if you were to tell me 16-year-old me that I could do poetry on top of playing violin, I'd be like, no, I don't believe you. That's too many sectors of the brain, you know?
That's so exciting. And like you mentioned, like being able to like pull from those experiences in your youth into your present reality. And so with that, of course, we're celebrating Pride Month. So how was that experience? Pulling that violin in, right, from previous lives, previous identities, and being in TED Talks as the only trans presenter representing an entire community. How did that feel at that time?
It definitely was interesting. I got a lot of like, oh, bless your heart. Like, I can't believe you went through that. And I was like, what about the part where I said we're facing eradication? Like, that's something that's continuously going through the world right now. And like, especially as a trans person, there's a lot of facets that we got to like swim through and loss of medical access or loss of, like, they're all very difficult. So it was really important to me, especially being in a very specific room of identities and being able to be like, hey, I might be a token in this space, but that's maybe the goal of this is for you to understand an identity or an experience that you've never seen before.
Absolutely. And how beautiful for you as well to be able to swim through at times, which I'm sure are challenging emotions, but to also be so empowered and represent and do a phenomenal job. Okay. You represented Las Vegas tremendously for TED Talks. And we are so proud of you as a community, me as a community leader. I cannot wait. We are all on the edge of our seats waiting for your TED Talk to drop. And there will be a whole premiere here in Las Vegas. So we are kind of waiting on the edge of our seats, and we appreciate you, Elizabeth, for bringing your artistry to share with us here and to share here in Southern Nevada. You're such a treat to our community. Now, I think we have a special treat for our viewers at home. We are going to have some poetry and some electric violin. Is that what we're going to be doing? Oh my gosh, I cannot wait, and I am so incredibly grateful for you folks. So we are going to give it up for Elizabeth Allen Berry as they perform the electric violin as well as do their amazing poetry.
Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Allen Berry, and this is my piece, Great Exhale, from my book, Becoming the Voidwalker. The Great Exhale. Trying to eradicate nature bears consequences. Unintended sentences leads to new information. All trans with no transformation will lay waste to the soul. We all breathe to let go, but what happens when our atmosphere cuts out? Even our saddest peer stays clear from the seer who cut us from our mold, who formed us. Rather, who directed us towards our skeletal design. Who said a divine creates crater-like divides and split the earth between us. No unseen green will look greener than the jungle in between our palms. Only in my calm does my brightness shine so strong. I just hope that the light will envelop me. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I'm your Clark County Poet Laureate, and this was our episode of The Poetry Corner. We will see you next time. And remember, if you're here in Southern Nevada and Las Vegas, we are having a closing reception for the With the Land exhibition over at the Rotunda Gallery here at the Clark County Government Center on July 10th. So we'll see you guys there, and we'll see you next time. Remember, it's always a great time for poetry.